So you're applying for dental hygiene and therapy. What is the Casper test? I'm going to go through exactly that and which universities are asking for it. The Casper test is a new admissions test that they've introduced for hygiene and therapy. It's not every university, only a few universities have decided to take on this new admissions test. It's the Casper test. It's a situational judgment test. This is sat online and there are only 3 fixed dates where you're allowed to sit the exam. One is in December and 2 dates are in January. There are 4 universities that are currently asking you to take the Casper test. That means you can't apply to these universities if you haven't done the test. That is the University of Manchester for their Hygiene and Therapy course, King's College London for their Hygiene and Therapy course, Portsmouth for their Hygiene and Therapy course. It doesn't apply to their Hygiene only course. And we've got the University of Leeds for their Hygiene and Therapy course. So this doesn't apply for hygiene only programs, only for those few dental hygiene and therapy programs. There are also other hygiene and therapy programs that aren't asking for the Casper test. So it does mean you don't have to do it. But if you want to apply to any of those universities, it is worth considering. What I would recommend is do the Casper test anyway. Prepare for it. Do the test, see how well you do. If you actually end up getting a really, really good score, that could definitely set you apart at those universities that are asking for the Casper test, because it is going to be used in their ranking process. Now, the reason that I think that they've come about with this Casper test is probably because hygiene and therapy has become so competitive with hundreds and hundreds of applicants, almost about 50 applicants to one spot. And they need some sort of extra way of filtering through the students. That's the only way that I can think of why they've potentially added this. I do think it involves a bit of rapid decision making and a lot of practice to be able to understand how to answer it in a way that's going to give you extra marks. So I will make a video on the Casper test, preparation, resources, and all things like that. But it's good to know first which universities are asking for it. So Leeds, King's, Manchester, and Portsmouth for their hygiene and therapy courses. Other universities haven't added it on yet, but they could do for future years. This is something you have to register for and book in advance. Again, there are 3 fixed dates where you can sit the test. It's an online test. It's over video, so somebody is watching you take the test, so you can't cheat in any way, and you do have to type out video responses. All of the exam dates, so the one in December and 2 in January, are all at 6 p.m, so it can be done after work. Make sure you're in a comfortable and quiet environment. You do need to register for this, so if you Google Casper test, it will be one of the first links. I think it's called Acuity Insights, and you can register directly there. So you need to put your name, your email address. This should be the same email address as you use for your UCAS application. You need to put in your UCAS ID. So once you start a UCAS, you'll get your UCAS ID that will be entered, and you can book the test. And because there are only 3 fixed dates, make sure you have availability. The universities that are using this test have said that it doesn't matter when you do the test, as long as it's done, everyone will be assessed equally, which is quite different to the years before where King would start interviewing in December. They won't be able to start interviewing until everybody has sat the test, from what I understand. I always think it's best to sit the test as early as possible, just get it out of the way, and it'll give you a clearer idea of which universities you want to apply to. For example, if you score sort of below average, I'm not sure what the average score is, but if you score below average, then you can pick universities strategically. And again, I'll make a separate video on how to apply strategically with your Casper test scores. Even if you're not applying to these universities, but you think you might, again, just take the test, prepare for it. It has been used across America and other countries, so it is a well-known test. If you ever see UCAT for dentistry, it's quite different. UCAT involves multiple choice answers where they give you a written scenario, and you have to pick multiple choice answers based on how appropriate a certain action is. But basically, you watch the scenario and then you have to write out your judgment, or it could be a video response about your judgment about the situation, what happened, your understanding of it, what actions would be appropriate and not appropriate. The main difference is one is text-based or video responses. I think when you're being asked to write out your thoughts and you need to apply strategically based on the scores that you get. More information about this will be coming soon. Just a reminder, the main universities asking for this: King's College London, University of Leeds, Portsmouth, and Manchester. Now, Manchester specifically said that they will use the Casper scores to first rank you before considering other aspects of your application. They have said that they're going to assess the application holistically, but it's definitely the first thing they check. So I imagine they're going to use this as some sort of filter. And it is definitely going to play a role. If you score well below average, it is something to consider that maybe your chances at Manchester will be reduced. So what you want to do is, if you do struggle with this sort of thing where you're being given an exam and asked to answer on the spot, maybe look at other aspects of your application that you can improve. Get your personal statement edited, reach out to me if I do have availability, or use AI to help you with it. Look at all my personal statement guides and videos, and also focus on volunteering and other extracurricular things that you can do to improve your application. Sometimes these tests are just out of your hand, but not every university is asking for it, so you don't have to take it. Not essential.